Thank you all very, very much indeed for joining today. This is going to be an Ask the Lawyer opportunity for Golden Visa, effectively the final chance for property investing into the Portuguese Golden Visa opportunity. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Tirso Olazábal from MDME Lawyers, who is normally based out in Hong Kong, but actually is in Portugal at the moment. So Tirso, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Grant. Thank you very much for the introduction. And yes, it happens that I'm in Lisbon at the moment in our Lisbon office. I hope I see you next month in Hong Kong.
Yes, yeah. Very much looking forward to that. It's been a while, so it'd be great to see you in Hong Kong, Tirso. And yeah, thank you very much indeed for joining today. As you know, we've worked for quite some time together, and of course, with the Golden Visa ending from a property perspective next month, as we understand. It's really good as a last chance opportunity to be doing this with you so that you can give an overview as to how you see the Golden Visa for property investing at this time. So yeah, thanks for giving your time today.
Thank you, Grant. It will be my pleasure to try to give some clarity on this matter.
Great, thank you, Tirso. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to give a brief outlay to IP Global, because I know there's a lot of people on this webinar today who aren't familiar with IP Global. So I just want to share a bit of context to the business. Then I will hand over to Tirso for the update for Golden Visa. Then I will just touch on the projects we have for property investing. And then we will take some questions at the end. So we'll probably keep this webinar quite brief, to about 30 minutes, just conscious of everybody's time. But we'll get the main message across that, in effect, it is very much a last chance for property investing into the Portuguese Golden Visa. So, Bella, if we could just go into the first slide, please. So a bit of background to myself, first of all. I've been in the business with IP Global since 2006, joined in Hong Kong, then set up our Singapore office, and now I'm based out of the UK. We've got around about 100 employees globally. We've transacted on over $3 billion of property investment across 20 markets. I've just highlighted some of the main markets here. Australia, the US, and currently UK and Germany. First and foremost, we've done over 1.8 billion US dollars of property investment in the UK. We've been investing for over 15 years now in Germany as a market, and also, of course, we've been investing in Portugal for quite some time too. We are a research-driven property investment company that facilitates the opportunity for clients to invest in property all the way from the acquisition of the property and helping them with our partners, lawyers, mortgaging, lettings and management. And actually we can assist with the sale of their property investments too. So that's just a quick summary of the markets, aside from obviously Portugal, where we've been investing in for quite some time. And then Bella, if we can just go into the next slide, please. So at this point, I'm just going to hand over to Tirso, who will obviously give a bit of background to MDME, where he's been based out of Hong Kong for quite a number of years and has been helping many clients over many years as one of his remits, which is the Portuguese Golden Visa, which he's very much an expert in. And Tirso will be providing an update for, as I say, the final stages, really, as we see it, for investing in property for the Golden Visa. So Tirso, let me hand over to you at this point to obviously provide the update and allow you to get into your presentation.
Sure, thank you, Grant. So by way of introduction, yes, my name is Tirso Olazábal. I'm a partner at MDME Lawyers. MDME Lawyers is an international law firm with offices in Macau, Hong Kong, and Lisbon. We are a full service law firm, and I am the head of our private client practice, which focuses on foreign investment into Portugal. And among others, it also includes assistance with the Golden Visa applications and other types of visas that we've been working for many years, since almost its inception in 2013. And we've been working with people from all around the world in obtaining the Golden Visa through the different types of investments that are open to obtain that type of visa. So with having said this, maybe we can pass to my presentation, okay? To the next slide, where I'm going to give you a general update on the Golden Visa, and more specifically on the legislative changes that are currently ongoing. As you know, Portuguese government has announced at the beginning of the year that they were going to implement some measures related to housing issues that we have in the country, in Portugal. And among those measures, they suggested to introduce some amendments to the Golden Visa law. Those amendments are specifically related to property, because this change, as I just mentioned, is within a major legal framework that will have an impact on different types of housing issues. So construction, taxation in property transactions, rentals, and so on, and also the Golden Visa on the part of the property, okay? So this law was approved by the Parliament a few months ago, okay? And after that, it was sent to the President of the Republic of Portugal to be ratified, okay? It happens that in August, the President of the Republic has officially announced that he has vetted the law. So he has not proceeded with the ratification of the law, based on several arguments, and some of them was that the law, in his perspective, was insufficient to provide the necessary adjustments that the housing market needs at the moment. So the law was sent back to the government, okay? And the government now needs to reapprove the law at the Parliament level, because the government has a majority in Portugal. The party that is now governing Portugal has the majority of the Parliament, so they will, and they already said officially that they will approve the law as it is, with no changes at all. If this is the case, then in the next session of the Parliament, they will approve the law and they will send it back to the President of the Republic. At this moment, in the second stage that we are now, the President cannot vet the law anymore, okay? So what happened, it was a political vet that the President can do only for the purposes of giving a second opportunity of the government to change something in the law. But if the government does not want to change and they have the majority to go ahead as it is, then the President has no longer the powers to prevent the law to come into force. So that's why once the law is reapproved, okay, we expect that it will be published within 1 week, and it will be enforced the day after of its publication. Until the law, and we expect this to happen by mid-October. Okay, the next Parliament session might happen in the next couple of weeks. They will approve the law as it is. Well, if that is the case, okay, they can always change their views and make some changes or not. But to keep it simple, they will approve it in the next couple of weeks, then they will send it to the president, and after the president receives the law, after 1 week, it will come into force. So that's something by mid-end October. This is just an estimate. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you a precise date, okay? So it's just for you to have something in your mind. Until the new law comes into force, applications under the current regime, which includes investment in property, will still be valid and accepted, okay? I think we can move to the next slide. So I gave you the main picture on where we stand in terms of legislation process, and now I would like to focus on the main changes that the new law, when it comes into force, will introduce to this program of the Golden Visa. So investment options that will no longer be available or eligible. Acquisition of any kind of real estate. So including indirect investment in real estate through private equity funds, and deposits of 1.5 million euros into Portuguese bank accounts. So these investment options will no longer be available for Golden Visa when the new law comes into force. So, and basically here, I think the most interesting point or not is the fact that property will be out of the list of investment options. So any type of property, no matter and regardless of its location, if you are going to do rehabilitation works or no rehabilitation works, any type of property investment will be out, okay? The new investment options, or the ones that will be kept, okay? The one that will be, let's say, from a commercial point of view, more attractive will be the investment in private equity funds that already exists. It's a 500,000 euros investment, okay? The funds themselves, they cannot invest in real estate, okay? This is one of the big changes also on the fund investment option, okay? Other than this, we have the creation of jobs, at least 10 jobs in Portugal, or incorporation of a company that creates 5 jobs. Other than that, we have options like we call it donations, which is investing 500,000 euros in public or scientific research activities, or 250,000 in artistic, cultural, heritage investments. Of course, these donations have been very rare throughout this the whole existence of the program. Maybe 7 investments were done with donations, okay? So they are very little. Normally, the investments are focused in property and investment funds. So whoever wants to invest in property is still able to do it in this very short window that we have. That can happen anytime until the end or mid-October, or with the new law, you'll still be able to invest in private equity funds that do not invest in property, okay? So I think we can pass to the next slide, Bella, please. Some practical aspects that I think I normally get this kind of questions from clients is that pending applications will not be affected and will be processed according to the applicable law at the time of its submission. So someone that submits the application now, although it is not approved, will still be assessed according with the current legal regime, okay? Renewals also will not be affected. As you know, you need to renew your visa every 2 years, so this will not be affected. And the minimum period of stay of 7 days per year on average will be kept as well. This is quite attractive, and it's one of the uniquenesses of this program of the Portuguese Golden Visa, and what made it very successful when compared to other investment visas that we have for Europe. It's a very flexible minimum period of stay, okay, that then will lead to the citizenship. So this will be kept as well, okay? family reunification will still be possible for any application that was granted before the new law comes into force, or that was submitted before the new law comes into force but was not yet approved. So you can do family reunification at any time. Okay, there are no changes to the citizenship, Portuguese citizenship access. As you know, the Portuguese citizenship is ruled by another piece of legislation, which is not subject to any changes whatsoever with this new housing law. Okay. Some restrictions to investors. Okay, so individuals that are related to governments that are under EU restrictions will not be able to apply for this type of visas. This was already more or less tacitly in place, but now it will be expressly foreseen in the new law. I think we can pass to the new slide now. So the final question, and before, I don't want to also to take much of your time, and I just want to give you a brief overview of where we stand and what will be the next day. So when is a new law expected to come into force? We think, I've already briefly explained the process of the legislation process, that it might happen by the end of October. It is impossible to give you a precise date, okay, because we don't know when the reapproval of the law will happen, okay. We think it will happen in the next parliament session, but it's not yet in the agenda, okay, and then it will need to be sent to the president, and after the president it will need to be published. So 1 week, so probably by end October, if everything goes smoothly. So if the government is not willing to make any change on the law as suggested by the president, okay. So I think that's basically it, Grant, from my side in terms of the general presentation that I wanted to give today.
Great, thank you, Tirso. Before we go to some questions that have come in, I will just now summarize the actual opportunities that we have for property investing via the Golden Visa. So there are two opportunities that we have currently, and of course, as Tirso mentioned, on the property investment side, these opportunities will end effectively quite soon now, once the new law is passed. So we have two opportunities here. So in terms of a commercial opportunity, you can invest in Lisbon. We have an asset for 350,000 euros as a cash-based investment. This is a workstation type opportunity. If you imagine like a WeWork, something like that, this is a very highly sought after institutional asset class going forward, where actually with a fantastic infrastructure in Lisbon, number of startups, legal firms, lots of small businesses, office space is highly sought after, and occupancy rates are extremely high. So this is an asset class we currently have available, the SOSA asset, for those looking to invest in a commercial asset with a guaranteed rental and a guaranteed exit as well, a buyback option, which of course I can discuss in more detail on a one-to-one. And on the left here, we have an opportunity in a location in the Principality of Grandula, a location called Camporta, which is about 60 kilometers south of Lisbon, a residential opportunity where you can invest from 280,000 euros, so a slightly lower cash outlay than the commercial opportunity in the center of Lisbon. So for these two opportunities, we've been working with a developer for quite some time, with a good track record, and has built some very good investment opportunities. So these are the two opportunities that we currently have available, which will be ending once the new law has passed. So if you'd like some more information and detail on these, do let me know, and obviously I can go through them completely for you once we can have that conversation. So let's just, at this point, as I say, we wanted to keep this presentation quite brief. So let's just go into some of the questions that we've got coming through now, and there is a few. So actually, just one here, so the first question is, does D7 work similar to the Golden Visa? Is one question that's just come in. Oh, you're just on mute, Terzo.
That's a good question, because sometimes depending on what someone is looking for, one visa might be more appropriate than the other. Okay, so a D7 visa is a passive income visa. So if you have a certain amount of passive income per month, you can apply for a residency under this visa. The visa implies that the person really comes and moves to Portugal. Okay, so they will need to live in Portugal at least 6 months a year. Okay, to keep this visa valid and active. Okay, the Golden Visa, it's more a visa on investment that does not require someone to move and to be a resident, tax resident in Portugal. So that's the big difference between the two visas. Okay, the Golden Visa gives more flexibility. Okay, but if someone really wants to move to Portugal and immigrate to Portugal, then the D7, if they have the passive income, they can apply for the D7, and under the D7 they are not required to make any type of investment. Okay, they just need to show that they have accommodation. It can be renting a place or buying if they want, but the key point is to have passive income, while in the Golden Visa you need to make the investments that we just mentioned before, but you don't need to be a resident of Portugal, so living there for 6 months at least per year.
Okay, that's great. Very good answer. And the next question, actually kind of linked to that, was, with a D7, can I link other family members? Of course, with Golden Visa, you can link your dependent children, mothers, elders. Is that the same case for D7?
Yeah. So just like a Golden Visa, you are also entitled to do family reunification, okay, with the D7, and you are also able to access Portuguese citizenship after 5 years. Okay, so both visas will give you access to citizenship in the same way. So holding any of these visas for 5 years entitle its holder to apply for Portuguese citizenship, either a D7 or a Golden Visa, and both will give you also family reunification entitlement.
Okay, that's clear. Next question, actually, it says that someone says there have been a few final chance for Golden Visa announcements. For property investment, is this really the end?
Okay, so yes, it's true that it's been a little bit ups and downs, but people need to understand that the Golden Visa changes on the Golden Visa law is included in a very complex piece of legislation that regulates other issues other than the Golden Visa. Okay, so that's why it's been going forward and back, because it has been under public consultation as well, and it's something quite complex. Okay, so it was not something directed to the Golden Visa. That's why we've been having final calls, a few throughout this year. But at this point, I can guarantee that it's really the last call and the last window of opportunity, because the law is already in its final wording, was already approved by the government, will be reapproved by the government because they have the majority, and it's a question of time and of pro forma that it will come into force.
Okay, yeah, well, that's clear. So certainly it is going to be the final opportunity then. That's clear. Next question, it actually says, do I have time to do an application now? So that's obviously one for you, Terzo. Yeah.
Okay, so as you know, it's impossible to tell you how
Yeah.
much time you have, okay? But if you know exactly the investment you want, okay, and you can quickly move and make the investment, my guess is that you will still be in a position to do it. It is very important that you protect yourself in case something changes in the meantime. I think that that's the key point here. So when I say protection is, for example, if you are going to buy a property, that you make sure that the developer, the seller, undertakes and to give your money back or your reservation money back or the investment money back in case you are not able to put your application on time. Okay, and that's something that the developers have been quite flexible. Okay, because they know what's going on, and if you know your investment, you are able to quickly move forward and pay the money while being protected. Okay, this is something that you can do. You might not have time to gather, for example, criminal records or marriage certificates if you need it, and because they need to be apostille and so on, and comply with certain formalities and authorizations. You might not be able to collect all these mandatory personal documents, but what we do is what we put the submission as long as your investment is done and we have the title of the investment. Afterwards, when the immigration will assess your application, we will give them the outstanding personal documents. So this is the kind of strategy that you need to consider if you really want to move forward with a property investment under the Golden Visa. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that, Terzo. That's clear. And actually, just to share with you, with the developers we work with, they will provide the initial reservation fee and the deposit amounts for the investment back if indeed you're not able to pursue the Golden Visa application. So all this is within the contracts to fully protect you as an investor, and obviously your lawyer, whoever that was, if that was Terzo, would review the contract to make sure they were comfortable before you move forward. So there is the protection there for the investor. Just to add, the next question is, what projects do you have left with IP Global? Yeah, perhaps someone missed that last slide, but we have two projects, one at 280,000 euros as a cash-based investment on the outskirts of Lisbon, and one for the commercial asset in the centre of Lisbon, 350,000 euros as an investment. Just to add, in these final weeks, of course, people are trying to pursue the investments as quickly as possible. For the 280,000 euro investment, there is only 3 units left at that project now. And of course, there will be no further opportunities created for the Golden Visa. Final question here. Can I invest in a fund at 280,000 euros? So again, just to be clear, the investment amount for the fund, which will be continuing for non-property based investments, is actually 500,000 euros going forward. So it's a larger ticket amount. So aside from the charitable donation, which is 250,000 euros, the next level up from that is obviously the residential property investment opportunity, a building that's over 30 years old, that's refurbished, renovated, etc. That's 280,000 euros, and that 280,000 euro opportunity will be ending when this law comes in, which by current estimations will be sometime during October. So I think that's it on the questions. Actually, some good questions there, comparing obviously D7 to Golden Visa, in terms of timeline for getting final applications in. So that's really as much as we wanted to cover today. Really, just to give you that sense that this very much is the last opportunity for property investing. And obviously to allow all the all the people on this call to have access to Terzo for those final questions. Now, of course, if you'd like to have a one-to-one consultation about Golden Visa, about D7, about this sort of final opportunity, please feel free to drop me a line. I can then introduce you to Terzo. If you'd like to speak to me about the investment opportunities here, of course, it'll be a pleasure to assist. Terzo, any sort of closing thoughts from yourself that you'd like to add?
Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted. Okay, it was basically to wrap up where we stand at the moment. That there is still room and a little window to proceed with the applications, as I just mentioned. Just to everyone to be cautious if you really want to do the move now, that you can get the protection that you need, so that everything is safeguarded from your side. And that's basically, thank you very much for the invitation. And it was a pleasure to give you this update. Okay.
No, thank you, Terzo. I mean, it's been great to, as I say, have you on at short notice, take the questions, provide the overview. And just to add, finally, Portugal is such a wonderful country to be in. You can see how nicely tanned Terzo is, as opposed to myself, very pasty here in the UK because of the cooler weather. But we didn't actually get into the details of what a fantastic country Portugal is, with the weather, the climate, the people, the ease of getting about, and great infrastructure, etc. But we've covered that previously. But nice to touch on that again. Terzo, as I say, many thanks again. As I say, there is more questions coming in, which I will answer. And of course, as I say, if any of you on this call would like to speak to Terzo or myself, do drop me a line. Thank you for sparing the time today, this evening, obviously those in Asia. Terzo, enjoy the rest of your Portuguese trip, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And as I say, thank you so much again for joining.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.